the new Floodborn Aladdin having a similar ability, being able to banish a character. The Aladdin doing it on quest as opposed to on play, but having that Floodborn therefore being a hit for Bucky. So it's interesting to still see Benja in this build. I feel like for the most part he's been replaced by Aladdin in the Emerald Steel list that's really leans into the Floodborns.
No, I agree with you. The one thing that Benja does a little bit better, I think he has one more lore, so perhaps a more aggressive choice. But you're right in that it doesn't activate the Bucky as the Floodborn Aladdin does.
You see a bit of damage put on to the Ursula there for the card draw.
Ariel singing Along Came Zeus to remove that 2 lore Benja. And at this point, Mike running a little low cards in hand. He's got a couple of good ones there, to play that Zach will have to find answers for. But Zach just going wide here, inviting Mike to have perhaps to grab your sword, singular.
Good job.
Something else. But, Zach just going wide here. And we see him with both the flute and the Pride Lands on the board. One of the things I think Zach is thinking about here is that in this meta, there's a lot of cards that remove, maybe will banish all your characters in one turn. There's Sisu, which does mass removal. There's Be Prepared, which is always present. And then a lot of people have started putting Grab Your Sword back into their deck to deal with Bucky and some of those builds. And so Zach trying to find answers in this deck that are not character-based lore generators. And that's why I think both Pride Lands and Flutes in here. There are ways that he can generate lore independent of characters if his opponent has that mass removal available.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like I say, normally it's a contested slot, so a player might think, well, I'll favor Flutes and go for a more sort of song singing endgame, or I'll favor Pride Lands and look at just getting characters out a little bit quicker. But here we're actually managed to find slots for both of them. And yeah, like you say, Zach has gone wide here and said, have a grab your sword. If not, I'm going to probably close this out pretty quickly. In fact, we currently have the one from the Pride Lands there. Any song will gain one from the flute. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on board just as it stands. I don't feel like I'm going to just guess he didn't see a shift target for either of the Robin Hoods there.
No, and really, one thing that having a lot of characters on board does is it makes your Strength of Raging Fire a lot better.
Huge.
Which he needed an answer for that beast to keep him, keep Mike from drawing into the answers that he needs, and just Zach racing ahead here. The thing with the flutes is this deck is so song heavy that flute represents 1 lore per turn, and so the closer you get to 20, you're on a ticking clock. 17 lore is 3 turns away, and so Zach just looking to push the lure total as high as possible, close the game out with the flutes, but we didn't even get there because that was a blitz from that Steel Song deck.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I think I've seen a Steel Song just go so aggro and wide so quickly. Yeah, it was pretty impressive. But again, playing against discard, it's kind of what you have to do. I'm going to empty my hand before you get value out of doing it for me.
Absolutely. What the discard deck wants to do too is get you down into top deck mode as fast as possible. If you're able to Whole New World sometime in the first 3 or 4 turns and refill your hand to 7, it really puts the Emerald Steel deck off of its game plan.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that was a pretty swift game. We'll see if game 2 is similar, or we'll see if Mike is able to pull back a win.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Didn't
have one that time.
Oh, I was waiting for it.
Yeah. I know. Let you down. Nice sporting fist bump there to start this game. One thing I want to point out too, Mike had pretty much his ideal opening that game, and Zach just having the answers for it.
Yeah, it's we even saw the Diablo getting shifted onto with the discard. So we see it again. Do we see a Whole New World? No, we see a lot of removal.
No, we do have the Robin Hood shift line, so Robin Hood turn 1, Robin Hood shifting on turn 3 is available. Ariel there able to find a Whole New World if he's able to play it on turn 3. And then we have some removal. Unfortunately, the 2 Strength of Raging Fire, not super useful without, several characters on the board. So we'll see which way we go here. There's the shift target Robin Hood there on turn 1. We know that that's a play that Zach has available. No Bucky.
No Bucky. Just gets to see the flute that was drawn there. But this time, obviously, Diablo is just a look at the hand. Ursula is looking at the hand and can get rid of a song as well. So
choosing to take and the Storm Rage is on, or let the Storm Rage on, is an interesting choice because it does replace itself in the hand, and we talked about last game, it lets Zach keep his hand size as he removes something, but it is uninkable, whereas the alternate choice is an inkable card, which reduces kind of your flexibility, so it's a tough choice which way to go with that one.
Absolutely, yeah, there's a couple of different ways you can go about it. The Storm Rage on is always 2, which is going to get rid of just the Diablo at the moment, so maybe it's just really wanting to get that the larger Diablo online, and that's the easiest threat.
Yes, that's probably right. Here we have the new Ursula. A new Ursula card coming along in Ursula's Return, very thematic. This is a 1/4 Singer 4.
So yeah, again, along came Zeus being the big song that you can do, but then also he's happy to sing 3 costs as well. Doesn't necessarily always have to do the 4. We see another Ursula, the same cards again. This time isn't able to get rid of anything. We do see the Shift Diablo there getting rid of a. We don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, and I think, Mike here double checking to make sure that there's no removal for that Diablo before choosing to put it out.
So the Aerial's going to go dig in here. I feel like anything the Aerial can draw you're going to be happy with, but we are going for a Let the Storm Rage on.
Yep, card to remove the Diablo, there it is. Ursula singing that. One thing that makes Ursula a good card, I mean, she is Singer 4, so as you pointed out last game, you can't hit, those 5-cost songs like Along Came Zeus or Whole New World, but 4 in the willpower line does mean it's a little sticky. Smashes, anything with strength 3 can't remove it, and that 4th willpower we see sometimes makes a really big difference in the first 4 or 5 turns of a game.
And here we see Zach just starting to pump the gas now and getting some early lore on the board. We see a Robin Hood come down there, shifted again. Just this toolkit card can challenge well, can quest well as well.
And this is such a good setup for Zach. I mean, not only does he have a decent number of cards on the board, but he has 2 5-cost singers here and a 4-cost singer. So if he runs into a situation where he can hit a Whole New World, like he's probably looking for here, he has 3 characters which can immediately sing 3 songs from his hand for free. And this is what Steelsong wants to do. It gains an advantage from putting high-cost or high singer cards on the board, and Zach set it up perfectly to allow him to execute that plan.
I don't think we saw a Whole New World. We did see a Grab Your Sword and a Let the Storm Rage on. Grab Your Sword not doing a ton of value here with those Ursulas both being 1/3s. So instead we take the Storm Rage on.
Storm Rage on, perhaps not a great card for this specific moment, but it does protect against another Diablo, but it also lets you draw a card. I think Zach would love nothing more right now. Well, I say that, Zach is clearly in a good board state, and Mike does not have a lot of mass removal other than Grab Your Sword, but Grab Your Sword not enough to deal with a lot of these characters, so Zach, I'm sure, is more than happy now not to play a Whole New World, as I say that previous comment, and just keeps driving the lore total.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that Mike has a bit of a clunky hand as well. Last turn, he pretty much just passed the turn. He has 3 uninkables. I think it's 2 Grab Your Sword, and I believe the other one is a Helga. There it is, thank you. Helga Sinclair Femme Fatale works really nicely with Grab Your Sword, or with a lot of the steel removal, actually. But at the moment, he's just unplayable with that 4 ink, so we are going to have to ink the Strength of Rage and Fire, I think it is there, just to get any of these online. But like you say, a Grab Your Sword here isn't really doing that much to the board.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about these Emerald Steel decks is they're very good, and there's a reason they're so popular, but they are really reliant on that early game combo. And if you miss your turn 2 Bucky or your turn 3 Diablo, or they don't stick, it sometimes is hard to execute your game plan, which is emptying your opponent's hand by turn 4 or 5.
I'm not sure if the footage blipped for you then.
It did, yes it did.
Okay, I'm very
back.
If that did the same for you folks watching, I apologize for that. Looks like what happened though is that we got to Grab Your Sword, and then the Ursula finished off the Aerial Spectacular Singer that was inserted there, and now it's passed over to Zach.
Yeah, and I think it's here. So I see a second Grab Your Sword. So the setup here is play Grab Your Sword, put 2 damage on everything, set up for the second one, try to clear the board. Still leaves you with Robin Hood to deal with, but it's definitely playing defense here for Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to get that board wiped and sort of start fresh again. And Yeah, and hopefully just be able to find some answers as you move into the second part of the game. I do apologize, folks. The stream is completely frozen for me at this point. So we're going to look at our lovely faces instead. What a lovely treat for you all.
Back here in the Lorcana space. Yeah, what an interesting matchup. Steel Song is not a deck which I think many people thought would be favored coming into this meta. A lot of people who rank decks put it, in a competitive tier, but probably off the top decks. But Zach is a player who's been playing Steel Song since set 1, and is always crafting and tweaking it to make it, effective in whatever environment he happens to be playing in. And doing that again here to make a very, very fast deck able to deal with this Emerald Steel meta.
Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, we're going to have to take a moment to get all of the bells and whistles back working for you folks. So we'll be right back after this break. No, we won't. We'll be back right in the gameplay.
Here we go. Right where we were. Storm Rage on, drawing Zach's card here. Yeah, Zach sitting with drawing the Rapunzel, which is perfect card to draw here, enabling him to remove some damage, draw 2 cards, and reset his hand. In the event that Mike does manage to deal with most of the board, Zach now set up to rebuild it if he needs to.
Absolutely. I'm not sure Zach is necessarily going to play in thinking another Grab Your Sword is coming right now. But I do think maybe healing the Smee was the right line there. It's obviously going to take a damage at this point and then get finished off if we do get that Grab Your Sword again. But I don't necessarily think that's a play you're going to expect is a Grab Your Sword back to back,
No, and I do think no captain on the board right now, so I do think that Smee should have a damage on it. There it is.
Yes, they're just catching up with us.
Yeah, now Rapunzel is often is a fantastic card for her healing ability and her card draw, and a lot of people think of her as a card draw engine only, but a 1/5 with 2 lore on the board in the Aftermath is not too shabby. 5 willpower, often difficult to remove, and in a game where you're racing for lore like Zach is, having that 2 lore character on the board is kind of nice.
Yeah, we see the 1/4 stat line that Ursula coming into play here, still quite comfortably sticking around after that second Grab Your Sword. Robin Hood's still kicking it, and Rapunzel's still doing well as well with that 1/5. Oh wow, another Rapunzel couldn't get down onto the board quick enough there, healing 3 off the Robin Hood. 3, refueling the hand, really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, and Zach fully in the driver's seat here, questing for 5 lore, getting him, a few cards away. A few lore away from victory.
вообще, ребята, lot of lore, by the way, for a character. But Sisu, when played, banishes every character on your opponent's side of the board that has 2 or less strength. Now, Merlin Crab had 3 strength there, but that little inconspicuous ice block that is sitting there on Bobby's side of the board, when exerted, lets you reduce the strength of a character by 1. So Oh,
like,
really?
oh man, these popsicles, they're following me everywhere.
You just can't
I
escape
can't
them.
escape the popsicles.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant too, though, because I'm pretty sure in Zootopia he recycles the popsicles or something, right?
Yes, that Nick Wilde. He's yes.
He's a sly fox. Yeah, but we do see Bobby do a pretty good job at clearing Noah's board here. We see just a Hiram and a Meta Medusa in play with a couple items, so Hiram will be able to quest and then banish Popsicle, drawing extra cards. But before Bobby does that, he's going to play a Develop Your Brain. It's going to allow him to look at the top 2 cards of his deck, choose one to put in his hand, and then Although Bobby is ramping up, okay, there we go. We see the Madam, or sorry, oh my goodness, we see the Maleficent being played and banishing the goat, stopping Noah from being able to do that. So now Noah needs another Merlin goat or something in hand in order to pull something like that off.
There's so many big mean ladies in this
There
set.
are a lot of big mean ladies. What is with that? I feel like just in Disney movies, it's like you have all the evil moms, the evil ladies.
Man. Maleficent is, she's, and that dragon, she's scary.
She's very scary. I love the art on this card because it's very diabolical. Maleficent is a very diabolical villain. So I really like that.
I feel like Maleficent to me is like, she encapsulates like the classic Disney villain.
Yeah, like when I think villain, I think Maleficent.
Yeah. Poor Maleficent, though. They didn't invite her to the party.
No, they didn't.
Maybe if they had, things wouldn't have gone so bad.
Yeah, exactly. See, it pays to be nice, people.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so Bobby's building up quite a big board here. I talked about how important the Lucky Dime could be paired with the Tamatoa, but even without all of that, Bobby currently has 5 lure on board, so he can quest with all of this, go up to 9, play a Lucky Dime, get 2 lure out of a Maleficent, or I don't think he has enough ink to play both the Lucky Dime and the Tamatoa and use the Lucky Dime all in the same turn. But Bobby's gaining a lot of lore just based on what characters on his board, and this is a critical point in this match because unless Noah has any more goats that he can play in his deck, it's going to be really difficult for Noah to play any cards that are actually going to get any lore because the characters are going to have to wait to dry.
Wait a turn.
Yeah, and Ruby Sapphire is full of cards that can just banish characters when they're played. So it's going to be very unlikely that a character sticks around long enough to quest the next turn.
Yeah. Yeah, so in Lorcana, when you play a card, it comes out wet, and then you have to wait until the characters dry before they can do anything, unless they have an ability that lets them do something the turn they come into play. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it definitely does. And looking at Noah's hand, he doesn't even have a ton of options. He has the Sisu, which we saw being played, but other than that, it's just a Madam M Snake and a Maui. Of course, you need a character to balance the Madam M Snake who can play it, and the Maui doesn't have any lore on him. So you can play the Maui. It has Rush and Reckless. You could take out something like the Hiram Flaversham or one of the Madam Medusa. But Noah really needs cards with lore on them currently, to be honest with you.
Sure, yeah. So Bobby does have that Lucky Dime and Tamatoa in his hand. Do you think those make an appearance? Well, only one could make an appearance next turn.
I definitely think one of them does, primarily because this turn from Noah was pretty weak, to be honest with you. And so, actually...
Yeah, Noah did not quite have the answers he wanted.
No, Noah did not have the answers that he wanted. And this gives Bobby a lot of room. This gives him basically an extra turn to play something like the Tamatoa or the Lucky Dime and grab something back. The choice here really is, does he play the Tamatoa or the Lucky Dime? Because Noah could be holding on to a Be Prepared or could draw Be Prepared. And then if you play the Tamatoa into a Be Prepared, that's not really good. So we do see the Lucky Dime being played instead. This avoids that entirely. If Noah does decide to play Be Prepared, then the Lucky Dime is still going to stay around. And this puts a clock on the game for Noah for sure, because Ruby Amethyst does not have any cards that can banish or get rid of items. So the Lucky Dime's there to stay, and it's going to gain lore every single turn.
Yeah. And of course, he is choosing Maleficent because Maleficent has the most lore, so gaining 2 with that Lucky Dime there.
Yeah, and these are honestly the most exciting games for me because Noah is so close to winning. Just 1 or 2 cards that Noah's able to find means that he wins the game, but he only has a couple turns to do it because of that clock that he has. Interestingly enough, though, Bobby does quest with the Hiram and banishes the Lucky Dime, putting it into his discard. And I think the reason Bobby does this is because he knows he has Tamatoa available to him.
So he can get him back.
Right, he can play the Tamatoa and immediately bring the Lucky Dime back from the discard pile. So Bobby must be just looking for cards, looking for answers, making sure that he has a way to stop Noah from questing with his Sisu. Because currently, Bobby hasn't played anything to get rid of the Sisu, which has 2 lore. And 2 lore right now, while Noah's on 17 lore, is really, really dangerous.
Yeah, he's Noah is not in the best board state right now, but he's so close to 20 lore.
Right, all it takes is for Noah to stick a single character like the Sisu, get a quest out of it, and then we've talked about the goat. If Noah can find a goat, Noah would be at 19 lore. All you have to do is play the goat, and he gets to 20 and manages to get past Bobby. Oh, wow. Okay. So this feels really bad for Bobby. Bobby had a really big board there, but is forced to play the Be Prepared specifically to stop just the Sisu from questing and getting that 2 lore.
But he was able to sing it, which is really great.
Yes, that makes a big difference when playing Be Prepared, if you're able to sing the card versus play the card, because it allows Bobby to follow up with characters of his own. So we see Bobby playing a Sisu of his own here as well.
That's a really fantastic play. I really loved that. Even though he had to say goodbye to all his Flavershims. And
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely makes Be Preparing your own board hurt a little bit less. We do see Noah play a Churnabox Followers though, and it only has 1 lore, but again, every single lore at this point in the game is important. It's also going to... Alright, Noah can banish the Churnabox Followers when he quests with it to draw another card, which gets him even closer to that, one of the cards that he might need just to win the game.
Yeah. Now Noah, it looks like he only has 1 card in his hand. Did you happen to see what that was?
I don't remember what it was, to be honest with you.
That's unfortunately at this point he would love to have more options, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly why we see the Churnabox Followers being played, because that's exactly what it does. It's going to give him options, and it still puts Bobby in this weird scenario. He knew Bobby didn't have a great response to his Sisu last turn, which means he probably doesn't have a great response to the Churnabox Followers here. So we do see the Sisu being played, which will banish the Churnabox Followers, and honestly is a pretty good play from Bobby. Usually you want to get more out of the Sisu, banishing more things, but Sisu is a high lore character that you can combo with the Lucky Dime. So not only was Bobby able to play the Sisu and banish the Churnabox Followers, stopping Noah from questing and drawing a card that turn, but he was also able to use Lucky Dime and gain 3 lore on that turn. And we see Bobby take that game.
He did. Yeah, I think Noah knew the writing was on the wall there.
Yeah, at that point, Bobby was so close to winning that he knew that he didn't have the extra turn, and that's exactly what we were talking about. It looked like Noah was going to win that game for the longest time. He was so close, being all the way up there, past 15, up to 17 there at the end of the game, and just couldn't close it out because of Ruby Sapphire's ability to use the Lucky Dime and all of the removal available to them to finish the game out.
I think that's one of the things that is really exciting to me when watching Lorcana games or playing Lorcana games, is that the game can change so quickly. Just because someone pulls ahead really far in lore does not mean the game is over.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Some matchups are a bit more predictable than others, but you have others like that one that's exciting to watch, because we're on the edge of our seats here going, is Noah going to draw the goat? Is he not going to draw the goat? Or are they going to have the outs for it? So, yeah.
Well, let's take a look and see how Noah can do in this next one against Bobby's Ruby Sapphire deck. What do you think that these players are going to be thinking of, specifically in their mulligan, going into this next game?
Yeah, so I really like talking about the altering that you have to do, or you don't have to do, but that you can do in Disney Lorcana. It's a very, very generous one, because you draw your first 7 cards per turn, and then you can choose any of those cards that you don't like, put them at the bottom of your deck, and then draw that many cards back up to 7, which basically means you can dig really far into your deck. You can dig 14 cards deep into your deck just to look for cards. So that gives you a lot of freedom on what cards you can play, because you can play fewer copies of cards and be more likely to see them in your opening hand. So I think in this case for Noah knows he's playing a control deck. He knows that he needs to go fast. Bobby went first in game 1. Noah knows he's going to go first in game 1, so he has